One of the veterans of the Riders who has seen this team in much better days when they were the best. Weston Dressler, one of the vets, helped try to lead them out of an 0-5 hole with a new quarterback throwing the football. And Darius Bowman and the Edmonton Eskimos, the opposition tonight, and they have won 3 straight after losing their season opener, trying for sole possession of first in the West if they add to the misery of the Roughriders so far this season. Welcome to Wendy's Friday Night Football. Glad you could come along and watch this game tonight, which is about to start. I'm Rod Smith, along with the panel of Milt Stegall, Matt Dunnigan, back in the panel tonight, along with Chris Schultz, of course, as well. Brett Smith, starting quarterback, 23 years of age, a third stringer to start the season. Darian Durant goes down in week 1, and then last week, the backup plan, and Kevin Glenn injured as well in their loss to the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Matty, what are you watching for in this game tonight?
Well, obviously I'm looking at the young quarterback, how he's going to respond. He's got the ability that Rocky Butler showed in 2002 when he went off in the Labor Day game, a very important game he knew nothing about. And he went out there and he just played fast. And this kid can play fast like Rocky Butler can. He's rushed for 1,500 yards in his college career, 20 touchdowns. He's got athleticism. I think the key for him in this football game against this team is first and 10 success and efficiency. Got to put yourself in second and short and second and manageable situations. Otherwise, advantage Edmonton.
I'm not looking at the young quarterback. I'm looking at the players around the young quarterback. And for the Riders, they got 2 football players at the running back position that are 245 pounds and 225 pounds. Use them. Jerome Messam and Anthony Allen. They only received 10 carries between the 2 of them in
Adande and Gutierrez, Torrey McMahon. Everybody in America was waiting on a response to yesterday's panel, and
the matchup between Darth Vader, Chris Jones, and Luke Skywalker, Brett Smith. Who's going to win this one? Will Chris Jones try to come out and pressure, or will he allow him to sit back and read and think? That's going to be the most interesting thing that happens in this game. Chris Jones, usually on first down, he likes to bring the pressure and get you in second and long. I think he's going to bring the pressure this entire game on young Luke to make sure he knows, I'm really your father, Luke.
How can I top a Star Wars reference with Milt Stegall? Hey, in any other year, maybe not, but this year, the way backup quarterbacks have done, 23 years of age, a QB we knew very little about. Go back 4 weeks ago to Rakeem Cato. You never know. I'm sure the Eskimos are not taking the Riders lightly tonight. Kickoff is coming.
Thank you, Rod. First time in 3 weeks, rain will not be an issue for the Eskimos. Edmonton looks for a 4th consecutive win. Riders still searching for their first on Wendy's Friday Night Football from Commonwealth.
Well, if they get their first, it'll be from the leadership of rookie Brett Smith, who, University of Wyoming, started 35 games, threw for almost 9,000 yards, rushed for over 1,500. His first start tonight, he's 23 years old. And Matt Nichols on the other sideline has 6 years of experience in the league, but just his 9th start. The only quarterback in the CFL, the only starter that is unbeaten.
Chris Jones has made Commonwealth an intimidating stadium for visitors. Eskimos have won 6 consecutive at home, the last 4 by at least 29 points. And there's Corey Chamberlain. He's lost 2 starting quarterbacks, and the Riders 0-5 for the first time since '95, despite leading by at least a touchdown in 4 of the previous 5 games. Eskimos won the season series 2-1 last year and the Western semifinal in November here at Commonwealth. There's Kendall Lawrence awaiting along with Shakir Bell, and we are underway. Lawrence across the 25 and is stopped short of the 35-yard line as Matt Nichols leads the Edmonton offense out.
Well, he's plugged and played a little bit throughout his 6 years in the CFL. 3-0 as a starter, all 3 wins this season. Has Shakir Bell in the backfield in his 2 games, the back-to-back games, 239 yards rushing. Kenny Stafford had his first catch over 30 yards against Winnipeg last week.
Nichols won that Western semifinal over the Roughriders last year. 196 yards passing in the rain last week, and here's Shakir Bell, who has been terrific early, and the Rider defense will have to be wary of the diminutive rusher who starts off with an 8-yard carry.
It's a defense that has struggled to start the season. One bright spot, maybe Jeff Knox, who's second to Adam Bighill in the league. with 30 tackles on the season. They have Alex Suber, 5 tackles in game 1 for him. That was last week versus the Ticats. He's not a starter, but Derek Walker may be their most consistent defensive lineman this year.
Third game for Shakir Bell, 144 and Player of the Week honors in his debut, 95 last week, and he stumbles here but has the first down, so back-to-back carries for number 33.
Probably look at both of these teams offensively and say because of their inexperience, the starting quarterback position, they want to establish that run. Shakir Bell, a couple back-to-back runs, get things going offensively for Edmonton. And you know Saskatchewan gets the ball, they're going to have to go to the run to try and settle down Brett Smith.
Eskimos ranked second on the ground against the 9th ranked defense against the run, and for the third consecutive time 33 has the ball and up to the 50-yard line.
On game 1 versus Ottawa, 18 carries out of the backfield for 144 yards, as long as the 29-yarder in that game. And then last week versus Winnipeg, one big run for 69 yards. And 12 carries, just shy of 100.
First pass of the game for Nichols on 2nd and 8. Underneath, catch is made, and Wallace Miles lunging for the first down into Rider territory at the Saskatchewan 52.
Jeff Knox had a shot at him, dropped into his zone, and then closed when Wallace Miles picked up this crossing route, tripped him up, but Miles kept his balance long enough to extend to that first down marker.
Knox comes into the game, second in tackles in the league. That's number 31 for him. First down, and they'll screen it, and that's read by Jake Dowdy. All over Shakir Bell as the Riders' middle linebacker, who's 7th in tackles, steps up.
Well, and leads the team in tackles for losses. So Jake Dowdy plays it here, where he reads this play, sees the screen, sniffs it out, steps up, beats the blocking. You see there's 3 offensive linemen in front of Shakir Bell, but he got in behind him. Great read defensively.
Telvian Clark checks in as an extra defender. As Clark steps up, or Nichols steps up, flags fly as he got back to the original line of scrimmage and maybe a yard or 2 more. Al Bradbury's in charge tonight. And the Riders offside.
Offside, Saskatchewan, number 0. 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
Alex Hall jumps the gun, and it will be 2nd and 8.
You mentioned how close this team has been over that 0-5 start. The Saskatchewan Roughriders seem to make these little mistakes that give them some issues. Defense was off the field there.
3-man rush, they send extra, and the pass is complete. Kenny Stafford the catch, but will be short of the first down. And now Chris Jones has a decision to make. 3rd and a couple, or a long field goal, or a punt into the corner. What do you think, Coach?
Yeah, it's right in that bubble area. We've seen a couple of teams. Jeff Tedford's done this a couple of times at about this spot in BC where they go for it on 3rd down. It's a little bit long for field goal range. I think Grant Shaw's going to punt it here.
Won't try a 51-yarder. Instead, it will be shot a punt.
Not a bad strategy to put that quarterback in his first start back in his own end.
Dressler waits in the end zone, and they'll short snap it to Lynch, and he's going to get tossed back. Not sure.
Did he get there? It's going to be close.
Looks like he does have it.
They're giving him forward progress.
Just had to get inside the 41, and Jordan Lynch has the first down. Stopped short last week on 3rd and a bunch, but on 3rd and 2, this time it works.
Direct snap, lead block from J.C. Sherritt. Gets just a piece of Jeff Knox.
So the offense stays on the field. Nichols on a roll, and the pass incomplete. as Hollins over there to make sure Miles doesn't secure the football.
Jake, go ahead, Chris, but Jake Dowdy just showed again that he is prepared mentally. He secondary contained Matt Nichols, made him throw the ball early on that play. You see him make a tackle in the run game, and now on this passing situation, second and long, he's going to substitution.
So 2nd and 10, Nichols trying to keep the drive alive. Full receivers out, pass over the middle. He's complete, and Darius Bowman has another Edmonton first down. 18th catch of the year for the leading receiver last season. 18 and 36 targets.
Well, Milt Stegall talked about it in the pregame show that when Darius Bowman starts catching everything in his direction, which he's capable of, which we saw last year, close to 1,500 yards, by far and away the leading receiver in the league. He is dangerous.
Another first down. And Nichols looking for Kenny Stafford. Touchdown. What an opening drive for Matt Nichols. And a 27-yard touchdown strike.
And an offside penalty that kept the Edmonton offense on the field. But you're right, Chris, take nothing away from this drive. Started the drive with a couple of runs to Shakir Bell to establish the line of scrimmage. Then Nichols went to work. Darius Bowman on the previous play, and a 27-yard touchdown for Kenny Stafford.
Third touchdown of the year for Stafford. 5th touchdown pass. They're just going to confirm by video that Stafford broke the plane before the knee touched. Shot 4 for 7. In the converts attempted from 32 yards out. Got this one. And the Eskimos have an opening possession touchdown drive. Matt Nichols 5 for 6 and 53 yards, and caps it with a strike to Kenny Stafford. Took almost 6 minutes here in the opening quarter.
We'll keep this thing rolling. Shout out Columbus, Ohio.
Take a look at the route running. He's going to get in behind the linebackers in this zone drop from the Saskatchewan defense. Linebackers a little shallow there, leaving a throwing lane in front of Jeff Tisdale.
Hey, Uncle Chris, what's up?
And behind the linebacking core.
So the Eskimos kick it off, and Ryan Smith starts at his 14-yard line, and a return up across the 30. And now Brett Smith ready for his CFL starting debut when we return to Commonwealth. Bacon poutine, Wendy's. Now that's better. But tough Edmonton defense, stingiest in the league. Licking its chops as it gets ready to face Brett Smith, the third different starter here for the Roughriders in 2015. Out of the University of Wyoming, taking a look downfield, and flags will fly, and Smith chucking it into the Rough Rider bench, and a likely hold will be the call. Had some time initially. But this is the young quarterback a little antsy. I'm really...
Saskatchewan, number 58, 10-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Left tackle Xavier Fulton.
There's the penalty. No play action fake to Jerome Messam. Just got right into his drop, so it really didn't hold the D line, and they end up getting a holding call as he extends the play. I'm a little surprised that Saskatchewan didn't just establish the run right out of the gate. They had the double tight end set in as well.
We were surprised at that last week with Kevin Glenn.
Yeah.
And the Rough Rider running backs only carried the ball 10 times. So 1st and 20, and they'll screen it to Messam. And the Eskimos waiting for that as He just gets back to the line of scrimmage. Defensive tackle Armando Sewell on the scene.
You mentioned the run game. Just 9 touches for Jerome Messam last week, 57 yards. He is the leading rusher in combined yards on the season coming into this week. There's Brett Smith, 23 years old, in his first start tonight. And Weston Dressler leads the league. Almost 10 targets, targeted almost 10 times per game.
So no gain on the play, 2nd and 20. And the Eskimos showing that they're dropping off, and their timeout called to avoid the time count penalty.
Timeout, Saskatchewan.
So we're seeing a little early inexperience.
The keys to this game is going to be how Jacques Chapdelaine, the offensive coordinator who's talking to Brett Smith right now, calls this football game. And if he puts him in situations that doesn't overwhelm him. And I would suggest that if he leaves him in the pocket, leaves him in that deep drop for this game with the defensive line he's facing tonight in Edmonton, it's going to be a long night for Brett Smith.
The Eskimos have dropped 8 almost right out of your picture here. 4-man rush. Another drops. Smith will step up, and now he'll take off. Eddie Steele and J.C. Sherritt in pursuit, and Smith hits the deck at the original line of scrimmage.
Now, J.C. Sherritt and a lot of the defenders that I talked to yesterday had a lot of respect for Brett Smith, weren't looking past him, looked at his college numbers. They played against him, of course, in the preseason. He went 5 of 6 for 99 yards and a touchdown. Granted, a lot of backups were playing in that game, and they respected his athletic ability. They know he's going to take off and run.
So Ray early to punt. Kendall Lawrence awaits. He'll field it at the 28-yard line. There'll be a 15-yard no yards penalty against the Roughriders after a 48-yard punt. So good field position for Matt Nichols, who's hot out of the gate tonight. Eskimos with an early lead at Commonwealth. Brought to you by Nissan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League. First time the Edmonton Eskimos have scored points on their opening possession of a game this year. Matt Nichols had averaged 22 yards per possession coming into the game, but 76 yards on that first touchdown march. And into the hands of Bowman. And close to another first down, tackled by Jeff Tisdale.
Well, take a look at his starts and the numbers for Matt Nichols over the 3 games that he's played for Mike Riley, who replaced him in Fort McMurray in game 1. And in those last 2, as you mentioned off the top, Chris, Ottawa and Winnipeg, torrential downpour. So the numbers for both quarterbacks affected. James Franklin took over last week through 3 touchdowns.
After the rain had stopped.
Yeah, and it's become a bit of a crowd favorite.
Pressure on, and Nichols dropped. Did that ball come loose? Back at the 50-yard line. Well, pressure has been an issue for the Roughriders defense. Who got on that football?
Alex Hall, great pass rush off the end on D'Anthony Batiste. It looks like Edmonton recovered, but watch the push by Alex Hall. He just throws him aside, steps in, and pulls down Matt Nichols.
3rd sack of the year for Hall. Just the 8th of the year for the Roughriders. 2nd and 15. Nichols throwing, and Bowman makes the catch.
Well, no soft zone drop there from Corey Chamberlain's defense. It was straight man coverage, and Terrell Mays had pretty good position. It's going to happen to the right of your screen, and Darius Bowman's running the corner route. Terrell Mays tries to cut under, just misses the football. And the focus and concentration to last year's receiving leader looks like it's back. That's a beauty.
That helps a young quarterback. 23 yards and a first down, a big conversion. Back to Shakir Bell. And he's brought down by Derek Walker and company. Alex Hall is there. The size of Shakir Bell, 5'6", 185.
He just carries himself on the field, though, watching in the last 2 weeks. Like he wants the ball. Like he just walks around like, yeah, give it to me right now or anytime, all the time.
2nd and 7. They send extra men. Nichols over the middle. Pitch and catch. Wallace Miles inside the 10.
Chris Jones and the offensive staff for Edmonton trust Shakir Bell to also do the dirty work and get his nose dirty. Tyron Brackenridge is going to come on the blitz, which he often does in 2nd and long, and Bell steps up, takes him away. That leaves the throwing lane open for Matt Nichols, and he finds Wallace Miles.
26-yard pickup from Miles. Matt Nichols spreading the football around. 8 of 9 and 112 yards already. Just 10 minutes and change in. Gonna roll here, and that's Jordan Lynch into the game, and he gets stopped. Alex Hall there again, so Hall steps up and has a tackle for a loss.
Well, Hall was the offside in the first drive for Edmonton that ended up in a touchdown. They were off the field, Saskatchewan defense, if not for that offside call, and he's made a couple of plays in this drive, although Edmonton inside the red zone once more.
Edmonton's 2nd in the league in red zone efficiency. Nichols running out of time here. Pressure on, and he is dropped. John Chick has his 2nd sack of the year and his 1st since the season opener as the Roughriders push the Eskimos back.
Well, Chris, you've gone 4 games without calling a sack for John Chick, and if you go back to last year in the first 7 games, that just didn't happen. In fact, it was multiple sacks per year. He keeps working, keeps hustling. Tyron Brackenridge came on the blitz again, went up over the middle, and that got things started for the Rider defense.
So here's Grant Shaw. Perfect on the year, 15 consecutive as he looks at this 31-yarder that's right down the pipe. Just short of the 12-minute mark, and it's 10-0. Back making his CFL debut with more on Brett Smith. Here's Lee Jones.
You know, Brett Smith wasn't even football at this time last year. He was back at home in Oregon, living with his parents, working as a bartender as well, working on his grandparents' farm. And he admits he actually mentally went to some dark places, feeling that his football career might be over. But he had a lot of encouragement from his father, Kevin, who himself was a collegiate quarterback, continued to encourage him to keep trying. He went to workouts with his brother to pull the football around. His father would come watch that as well. In fact, his father is here tonight for his very first CFL start, and he kind of admits he might be moving around throughout the stadium, a little nervous to watch his son play, kind of like the way his son moves around in the pocket.
Dad, a college quarterback at BYU in Oregon, so he could play.
Now, everyone talks about his mental and physical toughness, Brett Smith. Going back to his high school coach.
Emphasis on both teams with a flag down and pressure from Odell Willis. Smith takes a hit, gets it deep, looking for Dressler. Incomplete and nearly picked off, but Brett Smith got welcomed to the Canadian Football League by Odell Willis.
Shakes Odell Willis to start the play. Let's see what the flag.
Edmonton, number 41. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
So it was Odell Willis offside. It was Odell Willis offside. It was Odell Willis that Brett Smith shakes in the backfield, and Odell Willis that hustles and hits him to welcome him to starting action. Or was it?
No, it was
Sewell. Mondo Sewell.
A little more manageable here, 1st and 5. And they fake to mess him. He'll throw downfield, and another flag as that pass is incomplete.
Looks like this going against Edmonton as well.
Illegal contact on a receiver. Edmonton, number 23. It's 10-yard penalty, becomes first down.
Penalty against Marcel Young. And that's the initial first down of the game by penalty for the Roughriders. 2-and-out on their opening drive. The Roughriders have not had more than 3 2-and-outs in any of their games so far this season. Wide side of the field and incomplete. Intended for Rob Bagg.
Now this week you got to love in Saskatchewan when the radio station CJME calls the high school coach for Brett Smith back in West Salem, Oregon, Sean Stanley, and asked him about what to expect from Brett Smith. Said he was so tough that in a key high school football game, he broke his arm early in the game, threw a touchdown pass in the fourth quarter, continued to play, and then practiced for 4 days the next week until the coach said, "What's wrong?" They took an x-ray at a broken arm.
2nd and 10, dancing in the pocket, throwing the long out. It gets to Getzlaff, and a first down into Edmonton Eskimo territory.
And he just strong arms one out there to Getzlaff, shows great concentration. So we'll see. We'll see what Brett Smith has. I'm a little surprised early in this game in the play calling. Again, no touches for Jerome Messam to start this game, and they've got this young rookie quarterback slinging it, but he threw it on the target there.
John Ocho on that wide side quarter was eyeing up an interception. Smith reverses field. Oh, the Foster in pursuit brings him down.
Tough defense that Brett Smith is up against. The leading, tied for the league in sacks, and Marcus Howard, the defensive end off the edge. You look at Armando Sewell, pretty much stats in every category and unblockable so far this year. J.C. Sherritt, some big plays down on the goal line this year as well, but he's the leader at middle linebacker.
Defense has allowed the fewest points, the fewest yards. Number 2 against the pass, number 3 against the run. 2nd and 11. Smith with a flag down as an open man. And Ryan Smith with the catch. Is it going to stand? Coming back on a hold.
Willie Jefferson makes an inside move. I think Edmonton just went with 3-man pressure here.
Holding Saskatchewan, number 64. 10-yard penalty and remains 2nd down.
Levi Adcock, the right tackle.
Adcock is playing that right tackle spot, and it's an inside swim move right there from Willie Jefferson, who's part of the rotation. Edmonton just going with 3, so basically 5-on-3. Lots of help there for Adcock, yet he takes the holding call and takes a monster play off the board.
So 2nd and 21 here in the final minute of this opening quarter. And Getzlaff offside. And this play doesn't get off.
Offside Saskatchewan, number 89. 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
Not a case of a different cadence, different quarterback?
Yeah, that could happen, but he's going to have to use his cadence, and the receivers and running backs, O-line, are going to have to hang in there because he wants to try and keep the D-line off balance with his cadence.
Short week, 1 practice for Brett Smith before his debut. Pressure on, underneath, Messam the catch, and he gets tripped up. There's Ojo with the tackle.
Well, we're seeing Jerome Messam on the field. We didn't last week in Hamilton for Saskatchewan offensively, just about 4 times in the first half that Jerome Messam was even on the field. Anthony Allen got most of the reps at the tailback position. Tonight, to start this first quarter, and we're almost done a quarter, no running plays to Jerome Messam, no running plays to Anthony Allen. That's surprising.
Ray Early to punt near midfield. Kendall Lawrence awaits at the Edmonton 10. Short kick. And that will bounce out at the 30-yard line. So the Roughriders miss an opportunity to back the Eskimos up. Just a 26-yard punt. Terrific start for Edmonton. An 11-play, 76-yard touchdown drive to set the tone. It's 10-0 after one quarter. It comprised that the top running team in the league isn't trying to establish the rush.
No runs to Messam or Anthony Allen. Those 11 yards rushing for Saskatchewan, all on scrambles. Not even a quarterback draw to Brett Smith. Good news for the Edmonton Eskimos and Matt Nichols. Under a lot of pressure when James Franklin relieved him last week, and yet he's completing 89% of his passes in the first quarter.
And we saw Darius Bowman. There's been a lot of drops, and all the heat's on the quarterback, not the receivers, but got some help with Bowman making a terrific catch. And Matt Nichols told us he was looking ahead, trying to flush what happened last week, and that was evident in the opening quarter. So after the poor punt, first down at the 30, and there's Bowman with another catch, and Macho Harris will wrap him up. But number 4 has 4 catches already on the night.
Great talk with Matt Nichols yesterday, and he was all business when he did his TSN interviews and getting prepared for this game. You could tell it was important. Told me he has basically got off all social media, wants to just have positive thoughts around him as he tries to establish himself as a starter in the league.
58 yards already for Bowman. A play-action fake for Bell, and they go back to Bowman in tight coverage that time, provided by Terrell Mays.
You know, and I think Edmonton fans who are hard on Matt Nichols have to remember that a couple years ago, of course, he missed the entire season with a knee injury in a year that he was vying for the starting position. Then he comes back in his first game last year as a starter when both teams were 7-1, and they're playing in the Labor Day Classic against the Calgary Stampeders, who eventually win the Grey Cup. That's how he was thrown in the fire last year after not playing a year and a half.
Suber on the blitz, 2nd and 10. Bowman's got another catch, and looks like he's got another Edmonton first down.
You know, so he's filled in for Mike Riley, was 0-5, played the Calgary Stampeders in a lot of those starts throughout his career. Mike Riley still wearing the golf shirt, so it's an opportunity for Matt Nichols as well to come out and establish himself as a starter, and he finally gets to play when it's not pouring rain on him. Because the last 2 games, he was wondering what was going on. It was raining so hard.
This is the guy that pushed Mike Riley for the starter job a couple years ago, and Bowman unable to bring that one in.
And he's been on. I mean, this first quarter and some, I mean, you talked about the drops over the last couple of weeks, and again, weather conditions had something to do with that, but 10 of 13, and that was a drop where he's 11 of 13 for 133 yards. So you got the sense yesterday talking to him that he was all business preparing for this game.
Eskimos came into the game 9th in second down conversions. They've been sharp in that department, but that one sails past Bowman, who was just turning out of his break as the ball whizzed by, and they'll have to punt.
It was a timing issue because Bowman had lots of room. Tyree Hollins was playing off him by 3 or 4 yards, but it looked like he had trouble getting out of his break there, as he's explaining to the coaches on the sideline.
Jarius Jackson conferring with Bowman after that. Grant Shaw punts it away. Nick Dibski, the rookie, back to field this at the 19, and he gets tossed down almost immediately. Well, we'll see if Jerome Messam can get the run game kick-started. He leads the Canadian Football League in rushing with 329 yards on the ground so far. Coming into the week, Andrew Harris changed that last night. Look at that. Top 3 are all Canadian.
Yeah, all Canada. Winnipeg, Manitoba, Andrew Harris. Brampton, Ontario, Jerome Messam. And from New Westminster, John Cornish, who's out with injury. And there's Anthony Allen, who will rotate in. He got the majority of the reps at running back in the first half last week.
Roughriders lead the league in big play runs. And a slant to Ryan Smith is caught for what should be a first down in front of John Ojo. That'll be just just shy of the first down stick.
And based on the play calling and the fact that Brett Smith's been asked to just basically throw the ball and handle the pressure from this Edmonton defense, it'll give you so many different looks. Sort of holding his own right now. Remember that big play down the sideline to Ryan Smith, called back due to penalty.
Eskimos have surrendered just one touchdown in the last 12 quarters. Second and short, they're going to pass. And they do move the chains. Weston Dressler. Is there a run play in that playbook? Even on second and about 1.5 yards.
Well, hey, listen, I look at you look at the defense for the Edmonton Eskimos, very good against the run, ranked 3rd coming in. But it's puzzling, to say the least.
At the 38, on a roll, downfield, wants Dressler. Can't make the catch. Aaron Grimes in tight coverage.
And it's Aaron Grimes who makes the play, because that ball was thrown well from Brett Smith. Even though he's under duress, play action won't matter if you're not running it. And yet he gets the corner, he's in chase, and throws a pretty accurate pass to Weston Dressler. But Grimes makes the play without getting any illegal contact or any pass interference flag.
Although the challenge flag has just come out from Corey Chamberlain.
I didn't see that full speed live version of it. Unless there was contact beyond 5 yards.
Saskatchewan is challenging the previous play for defensive pass interference. This will be reviewed.
That'd have been a little bit of a hand fight that a few weeks ago was called, but it looks like that ruling has changed in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I didn't see anything live. Here's Aaron Grimes right here, and he comes out of his break, no contact, no illegal contact. Now the ball's thrown to Dressler, so does he make any contact before the ball arrives? No way. No way.
After review, there's no visual evidence to support defensive pass interference. Therefore, the play remains incomplete pass, second down.
The visual evidence was there, and there was no pass interference.
So Corey Chamberlain now 2 of 7 in the challenge department. Chris Jones yet to challenge this season. I think he might have got away with that challenge 3 weeks ago. Little hook under the arm, but
no, that's under the category of hand fighting, and as we move along here throughout the season, the officials are starting to get more comfortable with what this is allowed and what isn't, and so are the players. And I think Corey Chamberlain may have just been trying for one there.
Help his young quarterback out.
I've got a suggestion when it comes to helping his young quarterback out.
I think I know what you're going to suggest, but not on 2nd and 10.
No, unless you go screen dry here, but my suggestion on 1st down is 33.
Messam in the backfield. 5 receivers set. Time, open man. And the catch made by Rob Bagg, cut down by Patrick Watkins near the 1st down stick.
I had a good conversation with Patrick Watkins about pass interference and the way the officials are calling it, and that he has actually admitted to me yesterday that, you know, he is struggling a little bit with it and trying to find his game and how he can play aggressively like he's used to, but play within the rules. And he also told me, and he's a defensive back and one of the best cover men in the league, and said he could see where this rule change is going to benefit the game.
First down, Roughriders at their 48. Here's a handoff and a stumble by Messam. Able to push the pile for about 3.
I was going to mention the run game, and when you take a look at the D-line for Edmonton, Marcus Howard is tied for the league in sacks. There's Anthony Allen, tied for the league in sacks, but he's a 245-pound defensive end. You go to the other side, and Odell Willis, he's only at 250. You can attack those edges a little bit with the run game.
2nd and 7. Smith bounces out of the pocket. Another flag as he gets to the edge and will get a 1st down, but is this one coming back? Looks like another hold against that Rough Rider offensive line. Couple of first downs taken off the board by penalty.
Sure, Willie Jefferson was involved in that again.
Saskatchewan, number 66, 10-yard penalty, remains second down.
Veteran of the line in his 9th year, Chris Best, the right guard.
Well, when you get a holding call, it's often because it's so difficult to handle the guy you're playing against. And for Best inside, it was actually a blitzer. Koshi Mwamba.
2nd and 17. 3-man rush. And the pass complete. And Dressler finds his way across midfield. And it looks like he'll be about a yard short. Check that, Ryan Smith with the catch.
Well, it takes a calm demeanor in the pocket to throw that strike on 2nd and a ton from Brett Smith. Little stunt up front, doesn't get there, picked up by the offensive line, and Ryan Smith at the other end comes back nicely to the ball. Force a measurement here.
Yeah,
his best throw of the game.
Tackle on the play was made by Corey Jones, Brett Smith's old teammate at Wyoming.
I mean, he hit Ryan Smith on that sideline pass that was called back in the first quarter due to penalty, but that was the best throw. 3rd and inches here, but that was the best throw in that he had that pressure in front of him, had to throw it on a line on time to Ryan Smith.
So 3rd down, and usually Brett Smith handles short yardage, but not as the starter, and it will be Tino Sinceri coming in to handle short yardage. Matthew Ray, the fullback. Messam behind him in the I formation.
I'd run away from Armando Sewell if I was Riders right now.
Richardson in motion. Long count. And Sinceri fumbles the football. Dexter McCoy picks it up. He drops it. Aaron Grimes can't find it. And I think the Rough Riders got it back.
And Mondo Sewell made the play.
Saskatchewan gets it back. And it's Matthew Ray, the rookie fullback, who found it on the carpet.
First of all, right in the middle of your screen, Armando Sewell shoots the gap, and he causes the problem. And the ball was kicked around to past first down territory.
Forced fumble by Messam. And Rhea battling with Grimes. Able to get it back. That's a tough way to convert on 3rd down. Smith back in. Anthony Allen will try and get outside. Nothing doing. There's Ojo, the corner, shutting it down.
Oh, tough way to get and move the chains. Now they're going to be in 2nd and long again, Saskatchewan, because of that defensive play. Let's take one more look at it. Sewell just is in the backfield. That'll be in the back of the minds of the Saskatchewan coaching staff and Corey Chamberlain on the next short yardage play. You can guarantee that. Now, it looks like it may have been a change of possession again and then change back to the Riders.
It is being ruled an exchange of turnovers. Dressler is in the backfield. Smith on a roll. He's going to have to take off. And he'll step out in front of Aaron Grimes. There was a little confusion there. Weston Dressler was in behind Brett Smith, and Smith took off with the football away from him.
I'll give him this. He's shown some quickness with his feet. I mean, he can get the edge. He got outside of Armando Sewell there.
So 3rd down. And Early, who came up short on his first punt, will try and pin the Eskimos and Kendall Lawrence. Sails this one over Lawrence's head, and that one ends up in the end zone. This will be a single point. There is is a flag, so we'll wait and find out if the point is registered. Sort out the flag when we return to Edmonton on a Friday night. Man, catch the kickoff at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on TSN 1, 4, and 5.
That wasn't two defensive linemen on that shot.
And it wasn't two Stampeders. Nick Lewis going home to play his old team.
Dylan Ainsworth's going to get the penalty here for Saskatchewan. He leaves too early. The interior 5 can't leave till the ball's kicked. Tied with Dion Lacey for the Edmonton Eskimos for the league lead coming into this week, and special teams tackles just left a little early there.
Jordan Lynch to start this drive. Double tight end formation for the Eskimos at the 35. And quarterback option with the toss to Bell. Not much there. And Bell cuts back and lost a couple more, but we have seen Shakir Bell, when it looks like he stopped, come up with 7 or 8 more yards.
Spun out of the first tackle, but the pursuit got there, and again it was Derek Walker. Chris Jones made the right decision there. That penalty by Dylan Ainsworth was declined. He gave the point to Saskatchewan to take the field position, not give the Riders another chance to punt at Coffin Corner.
So loss of 2. Nichols back in, 2nd and 12. Quickly into the hands of Kuhorn, who is tackled by Tyree Hollins. Short of the first down, a 2-and-out for the Eskimos on this offensive series.
Asked Nate Kuhorn yesterday his goals. What goals is he looking at? I think he's poised and playing with confidence, and a guy who, if he's used enough, could get to that 1,000-yard mark. And you know what he said to me about his goals? He said, I want to be the hardest working receiver on the backside. And that said a lot to me, that even when he's not the target, he wants to be the hardest working guy on film on the backside of plays.
Grant Shaw, short kick. Dembski fields out at the 35. 35-yard kick, flag down, looks like no yards against Edmonton. Should be good field position for Brett Smith. Network, summer will be hotter than ever with The Theory of Everything, Inherent Vice, Lucy, Dumb and Dumber 2, and so much more. All August, only on TMN, the movie network. A couple of penalties. Dylan Ainsworth called for the hold. No yards against Edmonton. They move it 5 yards forward, and the Roughriders will begin at their own 39.
This is a stingy Edmonton defense. 1 point in this first half so far for Saskatchewan on a point that they gave them on the single.
And the first point in over 4 quarters surrendered. They did not allow a point in the final 3 quarters last week against the Blue Bombers. Here's Messam, left side, into the secondary, and finally tripped up. 33 gets the football, and look what happens.
Yeah, you know, he gets some blocking up front, but the blocking is there because the offensive line for Saskatchewan is allowed to fire off and become the aggressor. They're allowed to go up and make the hit rather than catch in pass protection. A 21-yard gain. They finally got the ball to 33.
Fourth carry of over 20 yards for Messam on the year. 9th in that department for the Roughriders. And a first down at the 50. Smith, pressure on. Marcus Howard in pursuit. But Messam's got it down at the 30. And perhaps a touchdown saving tackle by Koshi Moamba.
Composure from Brett Smith. He had Marcus Howard issues. He had some Odell Willis issues, and he kept extending the play. Marcus Howard at the bottom of your screen is going to step up, not allow him to get outside. They're respecting Brett Smith's running ability now, and he waits for Messam to turn up and get open.
20 more for Messam, and he's got the ball again. A spin here down to the 27. Dexter McCoyle, the tackle. Looks like it's slowing down a bit for Brett Smith.
Yeah, no question. And Jacques Chapdelaine, the offensive coordinator, now going to a balance attack, which will help Brett Smith as this game goes on because it influences Odell Willis and how Marcus Howard plays.
2nd and 7. Messam remains in. 5 receivers, pressure off the edge. Smith got away initially. Still in trouble. Escapes again and wisely throws it away. Odell Willis hit that Smith looked for a flag on.
Getting a little example, I think, of that mental and physical toughness that I keep hearing about when it comes to Brett Smith. Boy, he just didn't want to surrender there.
So the field goal team will come on, but first the 3-minute warning, and we get a look at the escapability of Brett Smith out of the tackle of Armando Sewell.
Live at the half, not only talking about Brett Smith, but Matt Nichols too, and also Paul Lapalisse on why the Riders aren't running the ball more. Just a few minutes away as we head back to Commonwealth for Chris and Glenn.
Thanks, Ron. Here's Paul McCallum. And if successful, this would be field goal number 700 of his distinguished career from 35 yards out. And a milestone kick for Paul McCallum. In fact, he can really even out the numbers tonight. Next convert will be number 800 if he gets the opportunity.
Thousands of points and number 2 all-time in the Canadian Football League's history. And Paul McCallum would have to play another probably 10 years to catch Louis Pasaglia for number 1. But pretty routine.
Don't give him any ideas. 10-4. Matt Nichols chucking again, and he's got a Darius Bowman again. 6 catch for Bowman, tackled by Terrell Mays.
Yeah, I've been real impressed in this first half by the accuracy of Matt Nichols. That his ball placement has been outstanding. Not a lot of pressure. John Chick did get 1 sack in the first, but 12 of 16 and a couple of drops. The Edmonton offense, his accuracy's been bang on.
2nd and 4. Hands it off to Bell inside. Bounces off first contact. And at the 45-yard line, should have it.
Got that on his own. Looked like there was not a hole at the point of attack where they were trying to get Shakir Bell. He was hitting the hole. Spun out of that. Got it on his own.
Hollins knocks on the tackle, but they do give him the 45, which is enough. And we haven't seen a lot from Bell. This is just his 3rd game, but he seems to get a lot on his own. Back into his hands again. Up the middle. And has 6 to 7 more. Jake Dowdy hanging on.
Indiana State rushed for over 4,000 yards and 28 touchdowns. Was a finalist for the Walter Payton Award in 2011.
And led the NCAA in rushing in his sophomore year with 1,670 yards.
Tremendous change of direction and vision. We saw him also do a nice job on a safety blitz when he picked it up and blocked.
Speaking of, here it comes, and the slant inside to Bailey, who has the catch, and Dowdy and Chick will wrestle him down. Eskimos back in Rough Rider territory. 12 for Bailey, and just his 2nd catch of the year.
Double slants there inside to Kendall Lawrence. Gives a couple options to Matt Nichols. He takes that 2nd layer to Bailey.
Good footwork,
First down, Edmonton. Time for Nichols. Takes a hit at the end of the play. Intended for Bowman, incomplete. With Macho Harris in his hip pocket.
Flag in the backfield. And Matt Nichols is suggesting it's against Saskatchewan for a late hit, but let's see.
Holding, Edmonton, number 67. 10-yard penalty. Remains first down.
That's DeAnthony Batiste, the right tackle.
Yeah, Batiste made the block on the previous play on Tyron Brackenridge. Let's see the holding against Alex Hall here. Hall goes upfield, tries to cut inside, and he looked like he might have grabbed him around the legs.
That Eskimo offensive line has been disrupted by injuries to Simeon Rotier and Greg Voigt. The departure of Matt O'Donnell to the NFL. Here's the screen to Bell. And he is cut from behind, got back to the original line of scrimmage in Rough Rider territory at the 46. Call it 9 and 2nd and 11.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Don't do it.
Counting down to the final minute of this first half. Extra pressure, Bowman again, and he couldn't snag that pass over the middle.
Right now, Corey Chamberlain, when he gets into these 2nd and long situations, is going with basically the same blitz. You don't see him just yet, but you'll see number 41, Tyron Brackenridge, come in on the blitz. That's why here he is here. Nichols goes over the top and tries to hit that crossing route to Darius Bowman. The safety blitz can be successful and has been over the past for Corey Chamberlain. It can also become predictable.
Is that a drop in your books by Bowman? A bit of tough catch. Mays in coverage. And Grant Shaw looking for the corner. Well, Dembski's going to have a chance to return it. 38-yard kick, and Dembski does touch down at the 16-yard line. So 47 seconds to work with for Brett Smith. And a lot of different faces been calling the signals for Saskatchewan recently.
Yeah, it certainly has. Last 11 games. There's the list. Tino Sinceri's on the sideline right now. Of course, Kerry Joseph last year in the playoff game here against the Edmonton Eskimos. And Durant and Kevin Glenn out this year. Durant with Achilles, Glenn with a pectoral tear on the 6-game injured list, has made the trip to Commonwealth Stadium. And I'm hard on receivers, so to answer your question, Bowman should have had it.
Spoken like a true DB.
Time count violation. Saskatchewan, number 16. This becomes 2nd down.
Well, loss of downs, that could be costly because Eskimos may get the ball back now. Call a timeout after the next play. You might have 30 seconds on the clock and decent field position. Little things. Swinging out to Dressler. And Dressler will step out. Clock didn't even start here. Now they're running it off down to 42. 6-yard pickup. And it's 3rd down.
Brett Smith,
I don't think they realized they lost the down.
Exactly. They didn't realize that initially. And Brett Smith looked to the sideline asking for a play on what he thought there was 2nd and medium.
And they didn't even have to use the timeout, Edmonton, to stop the clock. They're going to get the ball back with a chance to add to this lead before the half is done. So, as you mentioned, little things. There have been a lot of little things adding up against the Roughriders early this year. Kendall Lawrence awaits at the Edmonton 42. Ran it down to 1, but the clock wasn't running. Flag down, 55-yard punt, and Lawrence is stacked up at the 40, so we'll await the flag with a half-minute to go here in the first half.
Let's see what this flag is, because it may change field position. If it's against the Riders, they make them.
And it looks like Chris Jones is getting the options. He may take it right there just to prevent more time getting taken off.
Illegally downfield on a kick, Saskatchewan, number 90. 10 yards from where the ball was caught. 1st down.
Dylan Ainsworth, another penalty. He leads the league in special team tackles. Didn't get one last week, and looks like he's anxious to get one tonight.
Yeah, this is, I believe, his 2nd penalty for leaving too early, but his 3rd penalty in the first half. At
the 43, Nichols underneath. Bell not going to get by Jeff Knox, who wraps him up and wrestles him down. 4 on the pickup. About 15 yards away from getting into Grant Shaw range. 2nd and 6. 3-man rush. Pass complete. That's a first, or incomplete. Miles can't hang on with Doughty and Knox converging. And it will be 3rd down. 2nd 2 and out of the game for the Eskimos.
You know, as well as I think Matt Nichols has been playing this first half, and a little Shakir Bell mixed in there, and the Edmonton Eskimos defense doing their thing, stingy as they've always been. I think if you're on the road at 0-5 in Commonwealth Stadium, where it's been pretty tough for the Saskatchewan Roughriders over the last couple of games here last year, and their start this season, 10-4 is not bad if you're Saskatchewan.
Especially when it was 10-0 after the first 2 possessions for Edmonton. Dressler hits the deck at the 30, and there's 2 seconds remaining here in the first half. Just about 30 minutes as a starter in the CFL for Brett Smith.
Well, he's shown some quickness. He's extended plays with his legs. I've seen a couple of real good throws. I remember one on 2nd down right near the sideline to Ryan Smith. One called back, over 30-yard completion for penalty. He scrambled a little bit. Doesn't look flustered, and the game looks like it slowed a little bit as it's gone on.
To burn off that 2 seconds. And the opening half is done, so it's a 6-point Edmonton lead. After 30 minutes of football at Commonwealth, let's check in with the boys. Rod Smith in the panel and our halftime show.
Thank you, Chris. Welcome back inside our Wendy's Friday Night Football studios, back with the panel of Milt Stiegel and Matt Dunnigan and Chris Schultz. And a good start by the Edmonton Eskimos, but Saskatchewan gradually with quarterback Brett Smith settling down to the numbers 9 for 12, 89 yards for Smith, who certainly got better, I think, Matty, as this game went on. It was a little shakier at the beginning.
Yeah, it was shaky because he wasn't on the football field. Matt Nichols drove down there and scored, and since that point, after Edmonton scored the initial touchdown, it's been 4-3 Saskatchewan, and very close. I think right now Jacques Chapdelaine is playing things close to his chest with his young quarterback, really not letting him throw the ball down the field too often, and he's checking down, he's making smart decisions. He realizes just how wide the field is on that throw there, and I liked what I saw in the pocket for the most part, and we saw his elusiveness. You know, he was just, this is a heads-up play, makes one there, doesn't force it, finds Messam. This is the type of thing that he brings to the table. When you have to be able to create, because you're not going to see things clearly. Here, this scares me a little bit, because that's ball security that easily could have been on the ground. The Edmonton Eskimos do that better than anybody else in the league. But I really think that his football team has played extremely well around him. And he needs to continue to do what he did in the first half here. Although it wasn't flamboyant, it was smart football. And he's going to need help from that defense. We talked about it. Saskatchewan's only got 2 defensive turnovers. That defense is going to have to score, I think, for them to win the football game.
He's playing well. And the guy on the other side of the ball, Matt Nichols, is playing well. You think about the situation he was put in last week. You know, he was playing decent football. His team was winning 4-3. So he figured he was going to stay in the game. Well, that's not what Chris Jones did. You know, he felt he was struggling because his team wasn't scoring. He needs his quarterback to go out there and help his team score. He took him out of the game, and he took it tough. But Matt Nichols, being a professional he is, came back this week, and you look what he's doing. He's making some great throws. His receivers are making some great plays, and he's excited about playing football. You see, after this touchdown, he celebrates. He's basically saying, I can do this. Chris Jones, mission accomplished. That's what you wanted to do. He used that scare tactic like his mentor, Don Matthews. The same way with Don Matthews. I'm going to scare you to play better, and that's what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if it works, he can only be so mad at his coach, can he? I mean, it was a very quick start, and really the difference in that game, as you talked about, the touchdown on the opening drive, and that was the drive, I should say, and that was aided by a big gamble on the fake punt.
Well, look, going into the halftime, I think Saskatchewan should be ecstatic, and I think Edmonton should be concerned because Saskatchewan has weathered the storm, especially in the first quarter with all the penalties that limited any offensive success. This was the most important play of the first half so far. A fake punt. Now, I love this because what Edmonton is doing is they're not taking anything for granted. The conventional wisdom was to punt the ball, pin the inexperienced quarterback in his closest as possible to the goal line and see if he can bring it out at that time. That play produced 7 points. If they didn't run that play, it would be 4-3 for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Now, something's going to happen in the second half. But going into this, if I'm the Riders, I'm like, yeehaw, we got a chance here. Because what did I anticipate? I anticipated like 17-0 at this point, but no. This is a close football game.
See, the same thing showed to last night. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers were down early, but BC Lions took the football all the way down the football field, and then the switch went off, and it was all Winnipeg. I'm thinking Saskatchewan is hoping the same thing can happen.
Were you guys surprised about Messam and Allen only getting the ball total of 4 times, running the ball?
Well, I think the most important thing is to control the line of scrimmage, so I really do say yes. I do understand that they had to get their quarterback into the game. And as the half went on, he looked better and better and better.
He certainly did. He settled down, and about that running game, we're going to talk more about that now. Coach Paul Lapalisse is coming up in his GMC Coach's Playbook to talk about why the Riders have not run the ball more. They're in this one, though, trailing by 6. Wendy's Friday Night Football at the half with Edmonton leading at 10-4. We'll be back.
This would be field goal number 700 of his distinguished career from 35 yards out, and a milestone kick.
Baconator and bacon poutine. Wendy's. Now that's better. CFL action will continue Week 6 tomorrow. McMahon Stadium in Calgary. Remember Rakeem Cato making his debut in a victory against the Stamps. The Owls quarterback back at them trying to do it again. That is tomorrow night, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific time. 10-4 at the half. Edmonton Eskimos leading Saskatchewan Roughriders. Time now for the GMC Coach's Playbook with Paul Lapalisse. We talked about this a little bit before. We expected with a young quarterback like Brett Smith that they would help him out by running the football more. Just 2 carries each for Anthony Allen and Jerome Messam. Why are they not running it more?
Well, you like options. I've been to a brunch with this guy and some buffets. And
Careful
this guy,
now.
I'm telling you, he likes an options, all right? He likes having plenty of options. And that's what the
salads,
Riders...
different salads.
That's what the Riders are doing. Hey, your job as a football coach is to put players in a position to be successful. We talked about in the pregame, the Edmonton Eskimos, they line up with 8 guys at the line of scrimmage sometimes when you only have 5 blockers. Well, that's not a good opportunity. There's 10 guys in line. They've got 8 blockers. Guys, this is a called running play. Watch. They're running outside zone into the boundary, but they built in something. Hey, if we're outnumbered, go ahead, quarterback. You've got the green light to throw the ball to our one-on-one and take that matchup on the outside. So this is a called run. I like this game plan because you do not want to run into extra guys. You're going to be in a bad situation. Here's 2nd and 2. Again, once again, you got 8 guys line of scrimmage on 5. This is actually a called pass play. But again, they're getting their young quarterback some opportunities to throw the ball on the outside where they can have some success. Now they're using his legs. They've got 7 guys up blitzing. They've only got 6 protectors. Now you use his legs, and then he's the extra dimension to get an opportunity downfield. So the game plan for them is, hey, we're not going to run into these fronts. We're going to make sure we get it to Dressler and some of the guys on the outside. It's something when you see Edmonton on defense, you got to kind of do on 1st and 10. They're called protecting your runs with options on the outside.
Yeah, well, everyone likes options. Everyone likes choice. Careful with the food comments. See if I block for you in the future. The coach, Paul Lapalisse of the GMC Coach's Playbook. The Riders, something to build on. A slow start for Brett Smith and company, but just down by 6 with the second half kickoff coming up.
Yeah, they're only down by 6. I know they would like to be up, but I guarantee you they'll take that 10-4 the way they're down. The one thing I'm impressed with is Brett Smith. He's only thrown for 89 yards, but that's not bad for your first game start. Another thing, they have 3 sacks. They only had 6 coming into this game. They can keep that up. They have an opportunity to win this game.
And here is Lee Jones with Eskimos defensive end Marcus Howard.
Marcus, Brett Smith's been able to show the ability to scramble. How does that change things as you try to attack the quarterback?
It doesn't change anything at all. We just got to do a better job as a defensive line. The defense is just bringing him down.
This team defensively hasn't allowed a touchdown defensively here at Commonwealth Stadium. What is it about at home that makes this defense so great?
I mean, we're just playing into the scheme of Coach Jones, but we gave up a little bit too many yards this first half.
Thanks for this.
Thank you.
Riders down. They need something quick and uplifting. Schultze, what do you think? You do this?
I'd like to try. That looks like a rush.
I could not. Let's see.
No.
I'll be back.
No.
I'll be back.
Eskimos trying to extend their win streak to 4. Riders trying to end their losing streak at 5. A 6-point Edmonton lead as we head to the sidelines. Lee Jones with Corey Chamberlain.
Corey, Brett Smith looked more and more comfortable as the game went on. What are your thoughts on your starting quarterback?
He's a young quarterback. He did get more comfortable as he went along. You know, he shook the nerves off, and he's starting to look like settled in. He's moving the ball for us and allowed us to get some points.
Once again, penalties, stopping drives, and keeping Eskimo drives alive. What was the message to the team on that front?
We got to have guys that we got to fight. We got to fight to do the right things. One or two guys in there, hey, I told them, you can't be sitting there waiting on the Eskimos to put us to bed. If it looks like we're going to die, you better fight all the way. So just got to get that mentality to fight all the way through this. Don't start feeling sorry for yourselves. Don't start looking for ways out. There is no way out of this situation except for us fighting our way out.
Appreciate this.
All right, thank you.
Outstanding. I did think they agree with the coach that Brett Smith looked more comfortable as that first half went on.
Riders get the ball first in the second half. Here's Ryan Smith on the return. And a crease across the 30-yard line. And Brett Smith goes back to work.
Just before the game began, and I'm talking just before kickoff, he took a sprint down there just to get the nerves out and was shaking his arm a little bit and just trying to relax himself early on. Had happy feet like you would expect for a rookie quarterback, bouncing around. Got some holding calls up front because of him extending plays a long time, and then he started to get into a bit of a rhythm, bit of a groove. Some good throws. That one to Ryan Smith on the sideline, outstanding. 9 for 12 in the first half.
How about this Edmonton defense? Hasn't allowed a home touchdown in 334 minutes, 45 seconds as we start the second half with Smith on the run. Up across the 35. Well, we saw a couple of young guys get their Rough Rider debut last year, and they didn't go very well. Tino Sinceri and Hamilton with 88 yards in a full game against the Ticats, and Seth Daigie's numbers were in about a quarter of work.
And ugly. So when you look at 9 for 12 for 89 yards passing, and remember a 30-plus catch by Ryan Smith, negated because of penalty. Pretty good first half for Smith.
2nd and 7, crosser, Richardson, first catch, and battling to get the first down. Ryan Hines, the safety, trying to corral him, but some work by Richardson. And it is enough for a first down.
Big target, and on this crossing right, he battles he battles the football first, had to catch it a couple of times. Then Ryan Hines trying to get it away from him, couldn't do that. He extends and moves the chains.
Good second effort to get that last 2 or 3 yards. Little things, sometimes they add up the other way.
Exactly.
First down, Saskatchewan 44. Short drop, nobody home in the first read, underneath. And Dembski with the Odell Willis lowering the boom.
This is what the Chris Jones defense does. They come with so many different looks. They drop guys out of there. They'll put Odell Willis up in the line of scrimmage, and usually, obviously, he's a pass rusher, but he'll drop off and drop into the zone coverage. Dembski catches it, and Willis steps into him.
D-line coach Ed Fillion yesterday mentioning how often they drop their ends and the variety of blitzes the Eskimos have, and how much more complex than when he was a great defensive tackle with the Alouettes. 2nd and 9. Good protection for Smith, and Rob Baggs got the catch and a first down in Edmonton territory.
bag on the slant, and you heard Coach LaPolice, our coach in the TSN studio, talk about the numbers that this Edmonton defense will put up in the box, and that can sometimes dictate the plays to the Saskatchewan Roughriders and go away from their run. I'm not sure they should always do that.
You were mentioning Nate Kuhorn wanting to be the hardest working wide side out. Rob Baggs in that discussion, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Great comparison. Two guys that, whether you're the primary target or not, and sometimes that wide side receiver is sort of the third option, or maybe even the last option. But Rob Baggs as good as it gets.
Messam gets 4 carries, 30 yards on the night.
He will not take a play off, guaranteed.
Second and 7 with Anthony Allen in the backfield. Getzlaff maybe offside. Smith completes it. Dressler the catch, but a flag down, and it looks like Getzlaff was ahead of the snap. It's like he took an extra hop trying to slow his progress.
Offside, Saskatchewan, number 9. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
Called it on Dembski.
Yeah, I saw the same hop. Yeah, I saw the same hop. And Coach Chamberlain is...
Corey Chamberlain's lowering the boom on Dembski. Might have been a pair of them. Well, that rookie's going to get it.
Well, and that's what the official called, but that's Corey Chamberlain's information.
Here's Smith, wide side out. Getzlaff hauls it in and gets drilled into the Edmonton bench by Grimes.
Well, let's take a look at that penalty, because we may be able to bail out Nick Dempsey. There's right there is Getzlaff, and I saw the hop that you saw. This takes the first down off the board. Well, you could have called either one.
Maybe either one of them.
Yeah, both were in the neutral zone, but those are the type of plays that Coach Chamberlain was talking about. Taking first downs, and their offense has to leave the field because of the penalty.
Third down, they look from the pin, for the pin from the 47. Early kicked it into the end zone last time, and he has done it again, blasting that one right through. 67-yard single. And it's a 5-point lead. Matt Nichols' favorite target in the opening half was Darius Bowman with 6 catches. Back to work on offense for the Eskimos when we come back.
For Saskatchewan Roughriders has pounded one out of bounds in a situation where his goal is to angle this and try and pin Edmonton inside that 10-yard line, and he's kicking it 10, 15 yards deep. Almost looked like he's not sure that was the goal.
So 10-5, and the Eskimos get to start from the 35. Nichols short drop, and Darius Bowman with the drop. 6 catches, 74 yards in the first half, and he is the most targeted receiver in the league.
See Weston Dressler on that list, but yeah, Bowman, when you take a look at game 1, when Mike Riley was the starting quarterback up in Fort McMurray, he was targeted 16 times. Of course, why wouldn't you when he's coming off a 14-plus yard season, 1,400-plus?
Here comes the blitz. Nichols stands in, throws, and incomplete. Flag down in the secondary, however. Man, was there early contact?
6-5-3-2. Pass interference, Saskatchewan, number 3. Point of the foul, automatic, first down.
Tomacho Harris is called. That's the 6th pass interference call against the Roughriders this season.
Yeah, one of those plays where Macho Harris is in coverage on Bowman. He knows he doesn't have the safety, Tyron Brackenridge, and doesn't take away the inside.
Well, the Roughriders lead the league in penalties taken, illegal contact, and pass interference combined. That's the 13th time they've been called, coming into the game with 12. Edmonton, one of those teams that's pretty physical, hands-on coming into the season, starting to make the adjustment. Second down, Nichols, and he has Kenny Stafford in Rough Rider territory. It's a first down for the Eskimos. Stafford at the Rough Rider 50.
He can start to settle into his own here, coming off that big game against Winnipeg, where he had his first 30-yarder. Already on the board here tonight, and can work in tandem with the Darius Bowman.
3 catches, 43 yards, and a touchdown for Stafford so far tonight. First down, Nichols over the middle again, and Bowman has it again. Terrell Mays there to bring him down, but that's catch number 7 for Darius Bowman.
Offensive line settling in now on these throws because they're Matt Nichols is dropping back in that pocket. 4-man pressure here from Saskatchewan. They've got 5 to block. Lots of space. No one in the face of Matt Nichols.
And Derek Walker out of the game for the Rough Riders with a shoulder injury. Bowman once again, and nearly got out of the grasp of Terrell Mays.
That time the Riders and Corey Chamberlain decide to go with pressure, and this time it's recognition from Matt Nichols to go to Bowman. Sees the pressure off the edge, knows he's got no linebackers to throw it around, and Bowman's working on a 100-yard gain.
At 95 on the night. On 2nd and 1, the plunge. And it should be a first down. Best game so far was against Ottawa. 5 catches, 120, but on pace to better that here tonight.
Yeah, last week was targeted 7 times and just had 3 catches. A couple of drops last week, but he's bounced back big time tonight. Made that nice one-hander in the first half.
Started with a touchdown drive to open the game. There's a knockdown for Alex Hall, who's made some noise on that defensive line tonight for the Rough Riders.
Yeah, I would say it's Alex Hall's best game. A lot of football to be played here. We'll see, but he has made some plays after that first offside of the game in the Edmonton first drive, when his offside extended the drive for Matt Nichols, and he ended up finishing with a major, but gets the knockdown there.
Credited with 2 sacks in the first half. 2nd and 10. McCarty and Bell back in the game. Nichols on a roll. Look out! And it's another sack, and this time the safety blitz gets home, and Tyron Brackenridge has his first sack of 2015.
He kept dialing it up, and it was blocked well to this point, either from Shakir Bell, the running back, or they'd get a guard to pick it up. Calvin McCarty was in there. He goes out to help out on John Chick, and Tyron Brackenridge just weaves his way through there.
So Grant Shaw comes on to attempt a 44-yard field goal. Perfect on the season. A test here, and he's still perfect. And going back to last year, now 17 straight for Grant Shaw. It's an 8-point lead for the Eskimos. Might have been worse, but Tyron Brackenridge with a big play. Sack tally brought to you by Pure Later, tackling hunger, a promise we can all help deliver. The Edmonton record for contributions, 114,000 pounds. How about the folks in Winnipeg, who donated 297,000.
Nice job.
Next drive will be in Calgary, middle of the month.
It's been an issue for Saskatchewan trying to register sacks, but they're up 4-1 tonight. 2 from Alex Hall.
There's a guy who had the share of the league lead, Marcus Howard, with 5 coming in.
Take a look, when you count it up, the Saskatchewan Roughriders are on pace for 21 sacks, or 21 and a half, and that's 39 less than last year.
Saskatchewan, number 58. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
So this has been an issue, not an issue for Edmonton. They are on pace, even though sacks overall in the league are down. The Edmonton defense on pace for exactly where they were last year, right around 54, 55 sacks, led by Marcus Howard. So Maybe this is an issue that the Riders have had for the first 5 games that they're starting to fix.
Procedure against the left tackle. Xavier Fulton makes it 1st and 15. Smith bouncing around. Underneath, pass complete to Jerome Messam. And Messam has 6.
Talked about his combined yards, and Jerome Messam targeted coming into this game 26 times, had caught 23 of them, and some of them were tough catches. That was one of them. I mean, he releases at times, and you could say those swing passes or little screens aren't tough catches to make, but when you're a big back like him out in the open field running full speed, they are tough. He's come up with them.
4th catch of the night. And he has been better in that department than I think everybody has given him credit for in the past. 2nd and long. And the out is intercepted. Patrick Watkins has got it. And only the quarterback can catch him. Won't do it. Pick 6. Watkins. The all CFL corner. Burns the young quarterback.
Yeah, the Edmonton Eskimos in that numbers game that Paul LaPolice talked to you about at halftime. Win the numbers game here and fool Brett Smith into thinking that he's got pressure, maybe saw ghosts and wanted to get it out of there quickly. Throws it into a well-covered receiver, well-covered area with Dexter McCoyle underneath. And Patrick Watkins over the top, just an ill-advised throw. And when he looks back on the film, he'll see he had lots of time because it was straight 3-man pressure from Edmonton.
2nd defensive touchdown for the Edmonton Eskimos. That's the 9th pick 6 in the Canadian Football League this season. And it expands the lead. Veteran Patrick Watkins taking it to the house. By Patrick Watkins in the regular season. 2nd touchdown of the year by the Eskimo defense. They had 7 last year. Ryan Smith on the return. Up to the 30-yard line. Under 5 minutes remaining here in the 3rd quarter.
All Canadian the last 3 years. Patrick Watkins. The bottom of your screen, 9 dropped for the Edmonton Eskimos. And double coverage.
Second interception of the year. John Ojo, the other Eskimo, with the interception return for a touchdown. Here's the pressure on Smith, tries to screen, look out! Another one. J.C. Sherritt has got this one. And a touchdown-saving tackle by Anthony Allen. As it starts to unspool for the Roughriders here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, defense imposing its will now. I think that ball was tipped on the screen pass, bounced right up and through the hands and into the hands of J.C. Sherritt. Pressure coming off the edge for Marcel Young, and was that ball tipped?
Off the fingertips of the intended target, Anthony Allen, it looked like.
The pressure calls the throw.
And Nichols in the score zone, into the end zone, incomplete. Wanted Bowman and Jeff Tisdale there defensively.
Take a look at the one-on-one matchup between Tisdale and Darius Bowman. They'll move Bowman around. He's not just lined up at that slot back position. Little hand fighting. They'll let that go. Boy, he almost made that with one hand.
Eskimos 3 for 3 last week in the red zone. Get a challenge here. Looks like Chris Jones has challenged for the first time this season. Wants Al Bradbury in the command center to have another look.
Edmonton is challenging the previous play for defensive pass interference. This will be reviewed.
75% of the challenges this year have been for pass interference. Defensive pass interference, of course. Take a look. Like the early one in Aaron Grimes, I don't see it.
Again, early in the year, I think they call that, and now it looks like they want to let them play a little bit more.
Well, you've got to. I mean, you know, I think if you ask Jeff Chisdale or Darius Bowman, they'd say they want to decide the outcome of the game and not put it in the hands of the officials with contact, slapping hands, and things like that. We'll see. You're right. Early in the year.
But everybody's watching these decisions.
Review, it has been confirmed there is no pass interference. Incomplete pass.
In my opinion, the right call. Yeah, the standard is being set, and the hand fighting.
Or more accurately, excuse me, so it's being reset. Or
exactly, because that's not a rule change. Defensive pass interference in that challenge is not a change. But it became clearer with the contact rule and when it left, and there was, I think, in that transition between that 5 yards and the DPI as to the officials finding that standard again.
So it's 2nd and goal. Nichols, that one batted down.
Well, stop the momentum anyway. It just.
Alex Hall's had a knockdown. Now John Chick.
1 sack for John Chick in this game in the first half, and then now that knockdown.
So the defense does its job and forces Grant Shaw on to attempt another field goal, this from 14 yards out. And he's 3 for 3 on the night. Well, Whitecaps FC action returns tomorrow. Seattle and the Whitecaps. Kickoff live at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on TSN1. Back-to-back interceptions tossed by Brett Smith, and now it's an 18-point lead for the Eskimos.
So you're in your rookie start. You're on the road against a very, very good defense. Turns the ball over. You've got a couple interceptions, back-to-back series. You got to bounce back from that adversity. That's the task at hand for Brett Smith.
Edmonton now with 53 points off turnovers this year. The Roughriders have 3 points off turnovers.
They only have 2 coming in.
Eskimos showing pressure. Handoff inside, and Anthony Allen stretches out looking for maybe 2 yards.
I mean, the Edmonton Eskimos load up the line of scrimmage like that. You know, and again, I'll go back to what Paul LaPolice said about outnumbering the blockers up front. That's true. But they're also at times right on the line of scrimmage. And if a running back, even if you're outnumbered, gets a crease, there's not a second level.
Seen one explosive run in this game from Messam, 21 yards. 2nd and 9. Guns that to Getzlaff. He's got the catch and has the first down.
Just like the interception, but in the interception to Patrick Watkins, Brett Smith saw the pressure and felt like he saw ghosts because he only had 3-man pressure. Go ahead and run it, guys. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, stop it here. Now you've got 1, 2, 3. This time, Brett Smith is patient. He's learned from that mistake that he made throwing the pick to Patrick Watkins. Had lots of time, stepped up and found Getzlaff.
First down at the 46. Releasing is Allen. Pass is incomplete.
Well, boy, this defense, there's a lot of ways they can beat you. The best cover man and all-star at corner and Patrick Watkins. And by the way, Patrick Watkins, and I had to take a double check because you don't often see a corner leading the team in tackles after 4 games. But number 9 led the team coming in with 18. He now has an interception for a touchdown. So they can beat you if you try and go against some of their top defensive backs. And then that front 4 gets after it.
Hard to find a weakness in that group. Most of them together for a 2nd straight year under Chris Jones. Here comes the heat. And down he goes. Don Oramacion has the sack.
That's part of the key to their success up front is the rotation. Whether they bring Willie Jefferson in for Odell Willis or Marcus Howard or Don Amacion coming in and rotating for one of the interior guys, Amondo Sewell or Eddie Steele. And at times they'll all play in different combinations together. Steele with a nice push caused the problems initially.
First sack of the year for Amacion. Early to boot. Kendall Lawrence awaits. And backpedals Lawrence to the 17, a 57-yard boot, and good cover downfield. Jeff Knox leading the charge.
One thing you learn when you're a rookie in the Canadian Football League for the first time is that you might be starting linebacker and won that job, but you still have to cover kicks.
Michael Carter actually beat Knox downfield. They did a great job on punt cover against Brandon Banks last week.
While the ball was in flight, holding Edmonton, number 25, and your penalty, first down.
And a penalty will back it up a little further as Mike Miller, fullback and special teams guy for the Eskimos, gets called on the hold. So Matt Nichols hasn't had to work too hard to expand this lead. Here in the second half, Watkins adding the major score, and then Eskimos settling for a field goal on their last possession into the hands of Stafford. And second effort, yards after the catch for Stafford, and a first down.
Now 20 for 30 is Matt Nichols. As he inches or gets closer to the 300-yard mark passing, 214 yards in 3 quarters. Been impressed with Kenny Stafford. It's safe to say he's arrived.
Gives them a little breathing room up at the 19 and a first down. Into the hands of Shakir Bell, and he gets wrestled down by Knox. Flag in the backfield.
Going against Edmonton on a holding.
By the way, the Eskimos with 7 penalties and 9 penalties in their last 2 games had cut that down considerably.
Edmonton, number 52. Half the distance to goal. Still first down.
Yeah, they really did when you consider their first 2 games at 35 penalties. So
Alex Krosnick draws the 6th Eskimo penalty of the night.
That cuts that down in a big way.
Former Rider.
And one of the reasons they won 3 in a row.
So 2nd and 20, back at the 9. Nichols over the middle. Catch made. And this should be the final play of the quarter. Catch made by Kendall Lawrence, who has been quiet tonight in the offense. Well, the defense chips in a touchdown in the 3rd quarter, and another interception leads to 3 more points. And it's 23-5 for the home side heading to the 4th quarter at Commonwealth. Here at Commonwealth, and there are the numbers.
You know, I'm going to look at the passing numbers for Matt Nichols, and his completion percentage is pretty good to Nichols, and his completion percentage is pretty good tonight. And when the Edmonton Eskimos, who haven't really established the run either, just 28 yards rushing on 7 carries for Shakir Bell, then you are forced to be in second and long a lot. Got to throw the football on time and in the right places, and I think Matt Nichols done a pretty good job of that tonight.
Of course, all the focus was on the quarterbacks. Nichols trying to secure his starting job, and Brett Smith, I guess those are numbers you'd expect for a guy making a debut against such a stout defense.
Yeah, you know, I thought he had a pretty good first half, as sort of Milt Stiegel talked about as well, but you know, a young quarterback in his first start is going to make a mistake or 2, and his first one was the interception he threw to the outside, and Patrick Watkins.
2nd down, Nichols on a roll, throwing it, and Bowman's got it. That looked like a dangerous throw, but he finds Bowman for another connection that gets Bowman over 100 and gets gets Nichols a fresh set of downs.
Throw on the run, and he put it right on the sideline to Bowman. That should put him over 100. Tough throw to make, too, because you're rolling to your left. Got to get that lead shoulder around and rotate through it.
Bowman came into the game 42 yards shy of last year's pace, which ended up leading the league. That pass thrown away with pressure on. But Bowman's making up a little of that tonight. At 111, his second 100-yard game of the year and 22nd in his career.
A lot of those crossing routes, intermediate stuff. You see the long was 23. But those are sometimes the tougher catches. Most of the time, the tougher catches.
2nd and 10 from the 31. Here comes pressure, and a kick to Nichols again. Pass rush has got to the quarterback tonight. Jeff Knox in the neighborhood, and the rookie Brendan Tennant.
Yeah, this is an area of improvement for Saskatchewan. I'm sure Corey Chamberlain will say that there are no moral victories, or when you're 0-5, you're just desperately searching for that first W. But Alex Hall's had his best game of the 2015 campaign, and John Chick had gone 4 straight without a sack, got one tonight as well.
5th sack of the night. They came in with 6. Dembski at his 35, 52-yard punt by Shaw, and brought down after a 5-yard return. See what Brett Smith can do in the 4th quarter. We are professional grade. And there's Carl Lewis. No wonder Patrick Watkins looks so fast returning that interception. High-profile guest at tonight's game, wearing number 9, who has been prominent on the field. Holding penalty on the return, so they start at the 28. Bouncing around is Smith under duress. Odell Willis can't corral him. And Smith will run back to the line of scrimmage and reload.
These are veteran defensive players. And talk about Patrick Watkins down at the bottom here. He shows like he's going to come on the blitz and then restart it in the cadence as Brett Smith, the quarterback. So he restarts. They come back and line up. Watkins looks to the bench, and they change the defense so that not to get beat when Brett Smith, the young quarterback, understands now that he's got a blitz from the corner coming.
Weston Dressler, who came into the game 2nd in the league in receiving, just 2 catches so far tonight. 2nd down, and a pass for Dressler off his fingertips, and nearly intercepted. Koshi Mwamba had a shot at it.
Lots of different looks, lots of different fronts, lots of different numbers up front where they'll show you 7 or 8 on the line of scrimmage, then drop. But this is what Edmonton has done. They've sent 3 players on basically 3-man pass rush 13 times, 4 on 5 12 times, and then full blitzed 12 times in total.
Early kicking to Kendall Lawrence. And not a deep kick. Lawrence fields at his 44, bubbled back, and he gets taken down. So that's where Matt Nichols will scrimmage the football, shy of the 3-minute mark, 4th quarter. Wendy's. Now that's better. Commonwealth becoming a tough place to win again for visiting teams, just like the old days. Matt Nichols going to air it out. Hasn't done this much tonight. And Kenny Stafford unable to catch up with that.
Like Tyree Hollins went down there. He looked like he jammed his knee or something. He was trying to chase down Kenny Stafford.
Just what the Riders need, another injury with a long list of casualties so far this year.
Tristan Jackson was dressed on the 46, but was scratched and may be available next week. But no question, Hollins pulls up. Well, you're right. Edmonton Eskimos with one more major, right back in that 29-point spread that the last 4 games they've won by here at Commonwealth.
They've allowed 25 points in the last 11 quarters. And no touchdowns at home.
That is like the old days.
In over 350 minutes.
Equipment
There's
repair.
a guy from the old days, Dwayne Mandrusiak.
Absolutely.
Last guy that is a connection to the dynasty days of 5 in a row. Hollins is on his feet and getting an escort to the Riders bench.
And he'll put Michael Carter out here at the wide side corner. Corey Chamberlain, halftime message was for this team to fight and not find an excuse to let Edmonton roll over them. Right now, that defense got to make a play. They've been better at getting pressure on the quarterback, but they still have to work on creating the turnovers. Saskatchewan definitely needs one now.
And tonight, that defense has not been able to generate a takeaway. But it has been an improved night. Gave up 10 points on the first 2 Eskimo possessions. They've been tough since. Here comes the safety blitz again. Brackenridge after Nichols. And the pass is caught. And Shakir Bell up to the 50 gets 9. So pretty impressive play by Nichols to get that away under pressure.
They're going to hurry up, get on the line of scrimmage here quickly.
And Alex Hall jumps the gun, and that'll be a first down.
Penalties, 140. 15 for 110. 6.
Unless he was drawn, be the 15th penalty against the Roughriders tonight.
Alex Hall was trying to shift and move around.
Offside, Saskatchewan. Number 0. 5-yard penalty. This will become first down.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Jake Dowdy didn't sort of watch the movement here. And Jake Dowdy's right behind him, the linebacker, and he's kind of trying to get him in a different spot and maybe move him back a little bit, and then he just jumps into that neutral zone.
Well, that tells the story tonight. First down and a lot of time for Nichols. Now he'll throw to the wide side. Over there is Kuhorn, and hanging on to make the defensive play is Michael Carter. Medicine Hat product. Nate Kuhorn with 3 yards into Rough Rider territory.
Yeah, just 10 catches coming into tonight. But again, I mentioned earlier, he's playing with great confidence, and 4 of those catches were for first downs. He's often that guy on the wide side that will be forgotten that as defenses fall back into deep zone coverage out there.
Here comes Brackenridge again. Nichols gets it away. Kuhorn another catch. Kuhorn another first down. Tackled by Alex Suber. He's made some highlight reel catches this year as well. I asked him about that yesterday. He says, I never make them in practice. For some reason, they just happen in the games. But this is business as usual for Kuhorn.
But you see that sort of Rob Bag, and you made that comparison earlier, Chris, that Rob Bag comparison. And if Edmonton offensively, and this offense can evolve, can move Kuhorn a little closer to the quarterback and get him in some of that change motion, I think he could have a big year.
10 minutes to go. Matt Nichols at 260 yards passing. Double throw here, and Kuhorn's got it inside the 10, or did he drop it? No, incomplete. Ronnie had it, and Tyron Brackenridge there to disrupt the play, and Kuhorn shaken up.
You could see by the depth there that this was a double pass, because It was a lateral from Matt Nichols, and you could see Brackenridge coming across.
Corey Watson thought he had a touchdown pass, and Kuhorn gets separated from the football by Brackenridge. So 2nd and 10. And a pass over the middle. And away goes Shakir Bell. And he's down around the 10-yard line.
This was kind of his thing last week against Ottawa. You know, it was a tough night for Shakir Bell early on. Had limited touches. Was being contained pretty well by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and then had the big 69-yarder and made the numbers look good. I know that's a throw, but
31 and the hips don't lie for Shakir. I know there'll be a fine for that, but under 9 minutes to go. And at the 9, 1st and goal. Nichols into the end zone. Touchdown, Kendall Lawrence.
That's a tough matchup for Jake Dowdy. And the ball placed perfectly from Nichols. His ball placement been outstanding tonight. Shows it here. Couple steps out over the outside corner. And outside shoulder of Kendall Lawrence. And not much Jake Dowdy could do about that one.
Unofficially, we have Nichols at exactly 300 with that touchdown pass to Kendall Lawrence. 3rd touchdown catch of the year for Lawrence, who's been kind of quiet tonight for a guy who has been making some huge plays for the Eskimos in their last couple of wins. 2nd catch. An extra point provided by Shaw. And now it's 30-5 as the home team flexes its muscles at Commonwealth.
Pre-snap read here for Matt Nichols. There's Kendall Lawrence, and there's middle linebacker Jake Dowdy. Now, as just before the snap of the ball, as he's in his cadence, he's going to get Kendall Lawrence out of the backfield. Now he knows that the matchup in man-to-man is middle linebacker on a great back out of the backfield, receiving the football, throws it on that outside shoulder, impossible to defend for Dowdy.
So a couple of touchdown passes for Nichols on the night. Anthony Allen on the return. Trying to get outside. And Ryan Hines there to bring him down at the 26. And we've got a change at quarterback for the Roughriders. Tino Sinceri is back at the controls in green and white.
I've lost count on the number of quarterbacks in the last 11 games.
Cut in training camp, had a chance to take the reins last year when Darian Durant went down. He was first man up after the elbow injury to Durant. But cut in training camp, Brett Smith beat him out for the job and was ahead of him on the depth chart.
See Kevin Glenn encouraging Brett Smith, saying, hey, did some good things out there, and he did in the first half.
Those 2 interceptions in the 3rd quarter. His undoing. Here's Sinceri, and he has a completion on his first toss. Chris Getzlaff the catch. Last appearance for Sinceri was here at Commonwealth in the semifinal as he came in to relieve Kerry Joseph on that day.
Well, we're not talking really about Saskatchewan comebacks here. We're talking about who wins the job, and Tino Sinceri right now for next week has a chance to try and put some pressure on Brett Smith as to who starts next week.
Next week in Toronto. Argos home opener August 8th. Roughriders will be there. 4 receivers wide side. A slant to Ryan Smith into traffic. And brought down at the 52. 8 for Smith.
And one thing you have to always take into consideration in this type of game is when the starter is in, it's a different defense intensity-wise and looks-wise than it is late in the game when the backup comes in.
Movement on that defense. defensive line. It looked like Sewell was gesturing that somebody moved, and they did.
Saskatchewan, number 67. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Center Dan Clark double clutched.
Well, you know, that's another penalty, and the little things in this 0-6 start.
Well, you go back to last week, and a procedure call changed the entire course of the game with Corey Chamberlain's team ahead of Hamilton.
Yeah.
One procedure call on 2nd and 1 changed the play. Next play, Kevin Glenn throws an interception and gets hurt. Sinceri steps up, throws incomplete. Wanted Dressler at midfield. And again there from 2nd and 2 to 2nd and 7.
The last time, if this lead holds for Edmonton, the last time that the Riders were 0-6 was 1979. That year was the year after the late Ron Lancaster had retired in 78. And Lancaster had started all but 5 of 224 games before that. So their quarterback issues after that were the problem.
They tell me he was pretty good.
Yeah, he was a good one. And a good coach here.
Yes, he was. Got an injury update from the Eskimo bench. Here's Lee Jones.
Yeah, they've had receiver Nate Kuhorn with the trainers for the last 6-7 minutes as soon as he came off the field on that pass from Watson, and they've been working on his left shoulder. He seems to be fine now as he's trying to work it around, but when he took his pads off earlier off his jersey, he was in extreme pain. So we'll keep an eye on him as this game ticks down.
Now James Franklin's in the game to wrap it up for Edmonton. It's Matt Nichols' night, and Franklin just putting the finishing touches on this one, hands it off to Shakir Bell. I don't think he's going to steal Matt Nichols' thunder tonight.
No, absolutely not. Not at all. But this is a great decision by Chris Jones, and this is something that I think is lost sometimes from coaches, is that they kind of let their starter finish the game and don't make this substitution till late. But this gives a few more reps to James Franklin. Mission accomplished from Matt Nichols. I think he'll silence some of the critics. That 300-yard game, no big mistake.
Third 300-yard game of his career. Franklin will throw underneath, and it's caught by Wallace Miles.
But you get James Franklin some more reps, and what a difference in demeanor. I mean, James Franklin, a young guy, just 3 touchdown passes in relief of Matt Nichols last week, and was enjoying the interview process and looking forward to this opportunity here in Edmonton, because it was kind of his last, in his mind, it was his last chance. He thought his football career might be winding down.
Shaw booting it away. Dembski fields at his 30. Former Manitoba Bison up around the 37 after a 48-yard punt. Well, the World Junior Summer Showcase begins in Calgary with the first game between Canada and Russia. Catch the puck drop live Monday evening, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on TSN. I don't think anybody's shocked that Brett Smith would struggle. Short week, first game against such a tough defense, but just wanted to go back and big picture how incredible Rakeem Cato's first start.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't happen very often.
No, it does not. Trevor Harris, even though he's been around for some time, his first few starts.
And again, tomorrow night, Cato will try and do it again against Calgary. Look out. There's that corner. He just got blasted by Patrick Watkins, who's had quite a night.
They went back to it. You saw when Brett Smith staggered his count, and they got out of it, but Edmonton this time called it, stuck with it, and Patrick Watkins clean off the edge.
Even the corner does the somersault after the sack.
I was real impressed with Watkins yesterday. I'll tell you what, when we talked about the rule changes, I thought he would be one of the DBs saying, oh, I hate it. We're not allowed to be physical anymore, but he wasn't.
fifth into the fray. They'll dump it off to Messam. Ojo there, and he takes down the big running back in a hurry. So the two corners make plays on consecutive Rough Rider offensive plays.
Yeah, I touched on in the first half, but, Watkins said to me yesterday, he said, I'm still learning. He said, I think the officials are still learning. We all are, and trying to find our way. All the penalties are dropping as the season goes on. But he said then, I see the benefit of this. It's going to be better for the game, the rules that they put in the long haul. We just have to learn how to adapt. Had a big game tonight, number 9.
Early to punt it away on what should be the final play before the 3-minute warning. Good boot, and Lawrence from his 16 has something going on the return. Spins out of another tackle all the way up to the 40. After a 54-yard punt, Lawrence brings it back 25. Game brought to you by Nissan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League.
It was pulled last week. James Franklin came in and threw for 3 touchdowns. And a lot of fans wanted to see James Franklin. Chris Jones went back to Matt Nichols. He throws for 300 yards. Does not make the mistake by throwing a pick, and he throws a couple of touchdowns. Thought his ball placement was outstanding, especially on that last throw, and I think he silenced some critics tonight.
Here's Shakir Bell. John Chick in pursuit, and unable to take him down, but Bell contained Alex Suber the stop. Next two on the road at BC August 6th, then at Montreal, and Matt Nichols will be the starter for the Eskimos next week. This is not a good sign as Shakir Bell has been shaken up. Of course, got an opportunity with the injury to John White in training camp. White had a 192-yard rushing game against the Roughriders last year.
I think he gets hit in the helmet. I want to say it's Terrius George who's closing inside out. He gets hit from the outside, goes back in, and it's incidental helmet-to-helmet hit there. I don't think either player could have avoided it, really. I mean, George is just trying to gear down there and just make a tackle, but
yeah, Michael Carter with the contact. Bell's up.
An interesting point that Matt Nichols made to me yesterday. He said one of the things that I can now do, because now it's 4 starts straight, is I can self-scout. He said, when I was getting plugged into games here and there, it was hard to take a look at myself, take a look at my own errors. What was my fundamentals and technique, and where could I improve? He said, now I've got sort of a good library of film to take a look at.
Kendall Lawrence in the backfield for Bell, and he takes the swing pass. Flag comes down as Lawrence, a natural running back who has been deployed for the most part as a slot by Chris Jones.
A Andre Dury, Chad Owens type player, Kendall Lawrence.
Apparently they picked up the flag. And a punting situation here for Grant Shaw. Alex Carroll drops deep. So the rookie gets his first touch on a punt return from the 7. And he crashes up to the 17-yard line. Mike Miller, the tackle. Well, we talked about 4 straight wins by 29 or more. Only the second time in history that's happened, back to the Jackie Parker days. The last time, trying to make it 5 straight. They lead by 25 here.
And Chris Jones building something here. You go back that far, and some very good football teams in the early years here in Edmonton. Defenses that were led by Dan Kepley.
Parker Dynasty 1, Kepley Dynasty 2. Sinceri under pressure and dropped again. Aaron Grimes. So the Eskimos are sending everybody. Grimes this time. It was Watkins the last time. 5th sack of the night for the Eskimos.
I don't think I get much argument when I would say that the Edmonton Eskimos have the best defense in the league right now. Can beat you in a lot of ways. And as you mentioned in the third quarter, really no weaknesses. Great rotation up front. Premier pass rushers off the edge, led by Marcus Howard, and an unblockable defensive tackle in Sewell.
Boy, Ed Fillion was raving about Sewell yesterday. 5 sacks, 17 on the year for Edmonton. And maybe another one here. Sinceri escapes. And throws downfield, and that one incomplete. Watkins gets a hand on it. But Tino seeing the same kind of pressure that Brett Smith has most of the night.
You know, and when you talk about Chris Jones' pressure, it's it's pressure, but it's also a bit of a perception that he allows to fuel. And he, you know, he'll say, yeah, keep talking about how much pressure we bring, and then when we show you numbers like we did a moments ago, it's about half and half, where he's sending 3-man, 4-man pressure and dropping guys. It's just tough to figure out when he's coming with the blitz.
And where they're coming from.
Exactly. Overload sides, brings the corner even.
Well, he's been a master at it for many years with different teams. 50-yard punt. And Barrett on the return, brought down at the 45. Carroll and Ainsworth on the special teams tackle with a flag down. And Shakir Bell making his way to the
during the return,
locker room.
Illegal block. Edmonton, number 77. 10-yard penalty. First down.
79 yards of offense for Bell on the night. Well, this team lost its starting quarterback and had a number of injuries on the offensive line, but are going to post their 4th consecutive win after an uncharacteristic start.
Well, and they played 4 quarterbacks this year as well.
Lawrence, the ball carrier. So the Eskimos take first place in the West with this victory. Calgary to play Montreal tomorrow.
And there's this game on Monday that I'm looking forward to. I just got to throw that out there right away. In an Eastern matchup, Toronto Argonauts and the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Because when I look at that standing, and Edmonton Eskimos at 4-1, best team in the West right now. Which team is the best team in the East right now?
Yeah, I can't wait for Monday. So a punt situation here. Franklin unable to get anything going on offense here tonight after that performance last week in relief. Carroll again back. And he's brought down at around the 20-yard line with another flag back at the line of scrimmage. A reminder, our next game tomorrow night from McMahon. It's the Alouettes and Stampeders. Kickoff 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on TSN 1, 4, and 5 as Nick Lewis returns to Calgary.
You mentioned Rakeem Cato, who surprised the Calgary Stampeders, and they want a little payback in that one. And the final game of the week is that Hamilton-Toronto matchup. And Tim Hortons Field sold out, and it sounds like in Hamilton it'll be sold out all year long, which is
nice to have a game in Southern Ontario for the first time to wrap up
well
week 6.
And the Ticats have not lost at Tim Hortons Field. That's a good Toronto team, and that's some kind of matchup.
Sinceri from inside his 10, dumps it off, and here's Messam. Over Eskimos, got a first down. And up to the 30-yard line, J.C. Sherritt, the tackle.
That play right there in a game that's over shows you a little bit about Jerome Messam this year. Corey Chamberlain said after going 0-5 last week, he was looking on the film for who might quit. And that's what coaches do, to see if anyone's just shutting it down. Messam put it into high gear in a game that has been over for a bit now, at least a quarter.
First down, Sinceri, and Jamel Richardson has the catch, pushed back and tries to get back near the first down. We had an error in the standings. We want to make sure it's right before Blue Bomber fans storm our TSN offices.
Saskatchewan.
That was an impressive performance by Drew Willie last night.
Yeah, gutsy. Gutsy took some hits.
72 yards rushing.
The pressure cooker heats up for Corey Chamberlain in Saskatchewan. Did Brett Smith show enough to continue to start with Kevin Glenn on the shelf? Or do they go to Tino Sinceri?
Short week, one practice. Did Smith show enough? Or do they have to go to a guy with a little more experience in Sinceri? Stands in, he's going to air this one deep. And it's jump ball and brought down by Watkins. Second of the night for Patrick Watkins. And a size advantage there. 6'5" against Ryan Smith on the final play of the football game. Well, it's a 25-point win for the Edmonton Eskimos, who continue their home field domination. They've now won 7 consecutive at home, 4 straight in this regular season, and go to 4-1. And as you mentioned, Suits, now for the first time since '79, Riders are 0-6. 30-5 so long from McMahon, or from Commonwealth.